Howdy, folks. It's your pal Ryan, and this is So Bad It's Good. This is your Tuesday episode. How are you guys doing? How was Monday? Was it a gentle reentry to the week? I hope it was. Man, we are in a summer house vortex. The heat is getting turned up, baby. We'll talk a little bit more about the developments in this last day since I talked to you last. But we got a great episode for you today. We have Myka Meier from Ladies of London. Truly my favorite show. I mean, Summer House, I think, is my favorite show, but Ladies of London is my favorite new show on Bravo. I just watched the premiere of Real Housewives of Rhode Island, which premieres on Thursday. I really liked it a lot, but Ladies of London has my heart. Real Housewives of Rhode Island, though, I will say that it's interesting. It really seems like this group of women, you can really sense the relationships, and I always think reality shows are the most successful when it takes you into like kind of an enclave, into like a little bit of a secret society, not a secret society, but like a group of women that you normally wouldn't be privy to, and it seems very real. And I say all of those things as compliments. I have the second episode too, so I'm going to try to watch that today. And they're going to air the first episode on Thursday, the second episode on Sunday. But Ladies of London, I worry, because Ladies of London now will air after Real Housewives of Rhode Island on Thursday. So that's a 3-hour block of Bravo. It's actually 3.5 hours because Watch What Happens Live is going to air that night as well. And I just don't want Ladies of London to get lost in the shuffle. I think there is something really great here. Now, if Ladies of London isn't your cup of tea, that's fine. Also, I'm a big proponent of shows find you at the right time. That's not probably comforting to the network or to advertisers, but I think that's true. Shows will find, remember, I didn't watch Vanderpump Rules the first season it was on. I discovered Vanderpump Rules after the fact. I really fought hard against Vanderpump Rules. I've always told you this because I was so pissed that they did a backdoor pilot, that they aired Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and I thought it was a 2-hour episode of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and then all of a sudden, Brandy's talking to this girl, Sheena Shea, and I'm like, I don't know Sheena Shea, screw this. I mean, we kind of knew her because of the Eddie Cibrian thing in Beverly Hills, but I was like, I didn't sign up to watch bartenders and barbacks and bussers. No. I'm here to watch Fancy Ladies of Beverly Hills. And I was mad. And the same damn thing happened when Vanderpump Rules was Summer House was a backdoor pilot on an episode of Vanderpump Rules. I was livid. I was like, wait. Stassi's going to a summer house? Well, then let me watch Stassi. I don't want to just see one jacuzzi scene with Kyle. I want a whole episode of Vanderpump Rules, kids. I was pissed. But now I love all of those shows. I love Vanderpump Rules. I love Summer House. But shows find you at the right moment. I just think Ladies of London found me at the right moment. I really look forward to watching it every week. I mean, I think that is one of the hardest parts I would imagine in this media climate is launching a new show. Because there is so much demand for our attention. Even right now, us talking right now. You know, you guys know, you probably listen to so many Bravo podcasts or pop culture podcasts. There is so much demand for your ears and your eyes that it can be really overwhelming. I know I'm overwhelmed. There are about 20 shows right now that I need to be watching. That I want to be watching, that I'm like, oh, I got to add that to the list. It gets really stressful. And you're like, wow, this is supposed to be entertainment. So there is so much competition on top of social media exists in such a sledgehammer way nowadays where you can, you'll flip on TikTok, you'll open up TikTok on your phone and then 3 hours goes by and you think it's like 10 minutes and you're just watching just stupid videos, silly videos, one after another, thousands. And it's really hard. So I think you got to really pay attention to the shows that are launched and to the ones that they put an advertising budget behind. And Bravo seems to, they really believe in Ladies of London. And they seem like they really believe in Real Housewives of Rhode Island. And I'm all for let's get new stories. I want new stories, new women, new dudes. I think there is room for so much. And that's why sometimes when they do stunt casting, or I was reading an article today about Lisa Rinna potentially coming back to Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, which, by the way, Beverly Hills is not my favorite season. Where I'm even like, yeah, I don't know, fine, fuck it. Bring Rinna back. I'm at that point. I don't know. Now, she said she will not come back. She will never come back. But remember, if the price is right, everybody has a number. Everybody has a number. So, which, by the way, I will be recapping a truncated recap of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills on Wednesday's episode. You'll be hearing from contestants from the new Alex Cooper produced Love Overboard, which all 9 episodes are on Hulu right now. You'll hear those interviews on Wednesday, and then I'll do a Beverly Hills recap of last week's episode because I was still in baby bliss. That's what we're calling it. Baby bliss. Yes. Romy says hi, by the way. She actually can't talk, but I could sense that she wanted to say hi. It's great though. When you have a baby, it's, there's a lot of challenges. There's a lot of not sleeping, but at the same time, when your baby's all swaddled up and stuff, I watched Real Housewives of Rhode Island with Romy. She seemed to really enjoy it. We watched the new episode of Summer House. They finally sent the screener, and then I was like, oh my God, did they send the screener late because they were re-editing the episode? I couldn't really sense that, but tonight's episode of Summer House, it's interesting. But I will say the current storyline that is happening in real life definitely does color the way you view the episode. It's really hard. That's the thing that shows like Severance that I love, and the Pit, or even Paradise, which just had its season 2 finale I watched today that I really dug. They don't have to deal with on the off season, like the actual fictional characters. They don't have to worry about them getting into some kind of trouble in real life. Maybe the actor themselves can get into trouble, but the actual fictional characters, you're just responsible for watching that character for the hour that you get to see them on every week or how much you're binging. But with reality television, it's like a 365-day-a-year job. You might only shoot for 3 or 4 months of the actual reality show. And then remember, these are real people. And then they live the rest of the year as their actual selves. And that's a lot of time for these people with big personalities to try to not get into trouble. They're still going to be their fun-loving selves. And that usually leads to some sort of trouble, which it seems like we might be dealing with right now. And by the way, I feel like there's a lot of pressure to name this, like a la Scandal. How about we just not name it? Or why don't we just name it like Fucked Up? Oh, shit, this is the fucked up thing. Let's just, by the way, sorry for all the language, you guys. But yeah, let's call it that. Hey, that's what So Bad It's Good has named the scandal. The Amanda West Ciara scandal is just named Fucked Up. Wow, it's fucked up. Because it is. It is. We'll talk more about that in a second. So the point is, is there ever a point? The point is, I really am a big proponent I don't want to consider this legacy media. I don't like to say like that housewife shows are legacy media, but I believe that these shows are worth fighting for. These shows are worth our time, and they're worth discussion. And, it's like reality TV from its conception has been made fun of so mercilessly, and we want it to be respected. And little by little it is. And I love it. These television shows are for smart people. I swear to God, I'm not one of those smart people, but a lot of you guys out there are very smart. These shows aren't for idiots. And we've got to remind people day in, day out that is the case. And we want new stories. We want new people. We want all of these things. So I get really excited when I love a show like Ladies of London, or when I respond to Real Housewives of Rhode Island, or that I'm looking forward to the season 3 premiere of The Valley, which is on Wednesday. Because you're like, okay, the continuing adventures, let's go. Even though I'm still skeptical about Lala. Still skeptical. Lala's going to really have to prove something to the Bravo audience. But even that I was thinking about, it's like, sometimes it's like Lala is a known entity on Bravo, right? Whether you love her or you hate her, she's a known entity. And so it's a safe bet. If you've lost Jax Taylor, and he made his own bed, but if you lost Jax Taylor, you want something familiar. And even if that familiar has some negative connotations to it, it's still familiar. It's still like, oh yeah, Lala, I know her. You're not introducing a new character. Remember when Tiffany Amber Thiessen, when she popped up on Beverly Hills 90210 as like a bad girl? And at the very end of the episode, like the Walshes took her into the house, and at the very last scene, she lights up a joint in her bedroom, and you realize, ooh, shit, she's not a good girl. She's a bad girl. And that played against type because we had grown up watching Tiffany Amber Thiessen on Saved by the Bell. But we had to learn Tiffany Amber Thiessen's character. I'm blanking on her name right now. But you had to learn this new character that was getting introduced into the 90210 gang, this fun-loving gang. And it helped that we knew Tiffany Amber Thiessen as an entity, as an actor, but we didn't know the character. And with Lala, we know the character, we know Lala, we know that. So it's just kind of, it takes a lot of the heavy lifting out of it. So I feel like they think it's just it's a safe bet, as it were. So we'll see. We'll see on Wednesday because the adventure continues. I understand why Sheena didn't want to do this season, but I will say I think she will be missed because that's a known entity as well. And I feel like that would have balanced some things out. But we'll see how this season goes. So I'm very, very curious. Okay, before we get into the Summer House updates, I've been getting this comment a lot. Not really, but just saying my mom would be so proud of me right now with Romy and things like that. And if you're new to the show, if you're probably not, but if you're new to the show, my mom passed away 2 Augusts ago. Oh my gosh, we're coming up. This August will be what month are we in? We're in March. It'll be the 3rd anniversary this August. And Becky Bailey, amazing lady. I was obviously a mama's boy. I don't think I need to tell you that. And she had always wanted this for me. And I think I had given up on the idea of this a while back about having a child. So I feel blessed in so many ways. And yeah, it is so sad in so many ways that she could not be here because I know she would have been over the moon. And like I always say, it would have just been good free labor. We would have really put Becky to work and that would have been amazing. But a lot of people had said, and even close friends of mine have been like, I bet it's a real emotional time for you. It is an emotional time for me, but really the emotion that I feel more than anything else is kind of a real joy, just a very extreme happiness, tired as well, but an extreme happiness where a lot of the things that I was worried about before, not that they've just magically disappeared, but it's not been as pressing on my mind. I think leading up or in this last 9 months, I was very, not nervous. I was stressed out. There were so many questions in my mind and just like, oh my God, can we even do this? What's this going to look like? I was stressed out about Rebecca's health. I was stressed out in so many ways. And so, just having Romy here and for her to be healthy and Rebecca to be healthy, it has made me so less stressed. And I think that, I don't know if that read at all on any shows that I did, but I was very stressed. And so that has kind of been alleviated. But what I wanted to say is I really appreciate those comments. And a lot of people are like, oh, she's looking down on you. I hope so. But at the same time, I hope she's having fun wherever she's at. Hopefully it's heaven if heaven exists. And we always say, hopefully she's drinking the good wine and that she's just talking with friends and family and any celebrity crushes that she had that are up there with her. But it's hard to explain. I don't know if is that there's not. I don't know if I can put this into words. Is that I'm not okay with it, but there's this thing that everything is exactly as it should be. Is that I feel her with me, like I feel her presence, more so now in these last 2 weeks than I've had in a very long time. And so I feel like she really is here with me on this journey. So to me, it is not, lonely in terms of not having my mom here. I feel like she is here in so many ways. And I know, I can feel her happiness for me, and I can feel that she's ecstatic. And yes, we are missing out on that free labor, which is so important, but I feel that. So there's not a real sadness there in terms of that, because believe me, in these last couple of years, I've talked about it at times, but so many times that I never talked about it, that I've been immensely sad about this, that I've really not been able to make sense of it, even though I understand how cancer works and I understand what death is. But still, it was something that I felt very unfair. I remember even after the baby shower, which was such a lovely event, I was overserved at the baby shower, but I was I cried that night. I was I was drunk, but I cried because I just thought that to me was so unfair that she couldn't be there for the baby shower, because I saw all, so much friends and family and so much joy, and I wanted her to be a part of that joy. I don't feel that way right now. I feel like that she is here, very much present, and that is very exciting and very happy, and it's very cute. My dad, texts me every day, and he's always just like, my mom, she'll be like, your mom and I are very proud of you. And he just, he says it in present tense, and I'm not like, Dad, Mom's dead, but I'm always just like, it's a really nice thing, because I know she is. And I know she knows Romy, and yeah, that's it. But I just wanted to say that because I do get a lot of comments from people, and I always really appreciate those. But I'm not. It was interesting though. I did post a photo when we were the day we were at Cedars. It was a Monday night, and we were not Rebecca had fallen asleep because she had finally gotten fentanyl, some medication, and I was up. I was like tossing and turning, because the couch that they have you sleep on is like this vinyl. It's so uncomfortable, but it's not about me. And I was just looking at pictures of me as a kid with Mom and stuff, and I posted one, and I just said, I'm thinking about her. And I was. Nobody really knew we were in the hospital except for a couple of people. And that was the last time where I was sad about any of that in terms of my mom. But yeah, obviously she's on my mind every day, and that's going nowhere. But there's kind of a sense of peace and excitement and a lot of hope for the future. I think with anything, maybe, I don't think it's just me, but I think babies, and especially Romy, brings a lot of just hope and new possibility and wanting to be a better person to make your daughter proud, right? So by the way, now I'm about to talk shit about Summer House to make my daughter proud. Okay, that's it, folks. We're going to take our first commercial break right now, and we'll come back for our Summer House updates, and then we will get to Myka Meier from Ladies of London. Thank you for being here today. And we're back. Okay, Summer House, baby. Let's start with Demois posted this afternoon, on Monday afternoon. It says, as rumors continue to swirl that Amanda Batula and Wes Wilson are romantically involved, the ripple effect may be bigger than just one storyline. Sources tell Demois that the network, and that's Lindsay Hubbard, sources tell Demois that the network is actively and swiftly exploring contingency plans behind the scenes, with multiple scenarios on the table depending on how this unfolds publicly and how fans react. To be clear, this is not a cancellation announcement. It's simply one of several options being discussed internally, including the potential end of Summer House as we know it, as well as its spin-off in the city depending on possible fan blowback. Meanwhile, Demois has been told the cast is extremely upset and tensions are running high behind the scenes. At this point, no one really knows when things will return to normal again, if ever. Okay, so that's interesting, right? But that's kind of what we've been saying. We saw what Scandival, and I know this isn't Scandival, and let's be grown-ups about this. These are two people that are not currently in relationships with other people, and they are in a relationship with each other, allegedly. They're not cheating on anybody. It's uncouth. It's kind of gross in a lot of different ways. It's very dangerous, and it's fucking with their bag overall. I mean, if we're just going to be honest about it, which these people do care about their money, it's really messy. It's really amateurish, and I like all of these people. But just divorcing myself from my own feelings, if you look at it just from a macro sense, it is so bad just for the intellectual property of Summer House in general. In fact, like I said, I was watching tonight's episode, and it really does color the way you watch it. You're just like, oh, it's not Summer House, it's Bummer House. I was bummed, even when they were like, they're all dressed up as old people having a good time. And I'm just like, oh man. And, it's the same thing that happened with Scandal, where you're looking at every scene with a fine-tooth comb, you're pausing, you're freeze-framing, you're like looking, okay, can I zoom in on this shot? Do I see anything? I think some people are kind of pushing the narrative that this relationship had been going on for a very long time. No, I do not believe that at all. I believe that they are close friends. They were close friends. You see their closeness on this show. I do believe that kicked up a notch after the Super Bowl. In fact, Kelly Williams, the host of Beyond the Blinds, they said they were getting DMs as well right around the same time Dumois was. And I asked her, I said, hey, is that before the Super Bowl or after the Super Bowl? And it was after the Super Bowl, which really, I think it was that week of the snowstorm in New York. I think that's when everything really went to another level. That's just my speculation. I could be wrong, but I do not think that something was going on at that moment. And if you watch it, I mean, like really, like use your heads. I know it's exciting, you get excited and you're like, ooh, everything becomes a conspiracy. And like, I get it. But it doesn't make sense even with the narrative of West and Ciara and Kyle and Amanda, and it's like, these are our real people. They're not going to, Amanda's still sleeping in a bed with Kyle Cooke. She's not just doing that for the cameras, because at this point, Amanda could go sleep in another bedroom or a couch, and nobody would blame her because Kyle called her an effing bitch in the last episode. It wouldn't look weird, but no, she's still sleeping in the bed. So I don't believe that they were already broken up. I don't believe any of that stuff. But I do believe this Dumois item to be very true. I don't think they're going to end up canceling Summer House, but remember, this is a money-making property, and you've got to look ahead. You've got to look into the future. And, you got to look at how the fans react to this because, listen, we have not given the Vanderpump Rules reboot like a nice, clear liftoff. We've really fought that show tooth and nail. So it's going to be very interesting when whatever information comes out officially, how we handle all of that. But that affects everything because even if how you even view it in your head, you're like, okay, so Amanda and Kyle were doing this spinoff in the city, right? So allegedly they weren't going to be coming back to Summer House anyways. So that would mean Wes, Ciara, Jesse, maybe Lindsay, but Lindsay's over it in the city as well. You've got Dara, KJ, Bailey, Levi, Ben. Ben's mainly a friend of Kyle and Amanda, so who knows there? Where does Carl Radke go? But if this happened with Wes, you tell me Wes is still going to go party there in the Hamptons if he's dating Amanda Batula? I mean, Jesse Solomon's like, no, I'm coming, regardless if we're filming or not. But it does affect the overall dynamic. You think Ciara's going to still want to be in that house? That house of bad vibes, which, by the way, the Summer House that they're using is for sale right now. I've been sent the listing many times, and if anybody wants to loan me $8 or $9 million, I would really appreciate it. I would like to say I'm good for it, but I don't know if that's necessarily true. But I think we could, maybe we'll do like a timeshare thing. I think we could have a lot of fun there. We just get a bunch of podcasters and content creators and I just would love to rent that place for a weekend or even just a weekday, 2 weekdays. Maybe it's cheaper on the weekdays before they sell this place. God, we just get so much good content. But you have to look at what the future is. And in the city, if this happens, I think Amanda Batula already online seems to be taking the brunt of the negative narrative or negative comments, which I believe it should be shared equally. I believe West should be getting a lot of negative comments as well, but I see a lot towards Amanda. And not because of Kyle, but mainly because of the relationship between Amanda and Ciara. But I believe this to be very true that Bravo, it is a network that is about money at the end of the day. And they do have, this is a property they have to try to take care of. They realize their past mistakes. And remember, I think Bravo historian Samantha Bush pointed this out that Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Russell, remember Taylor Armstrong's husband, Russell? He unalived himself because they went ahead and filmed the reunion for Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. He unalived himself. They have to actually take into account, and Scandal was so intense for everybody involved. So I don't think they want to make any of the same mistakes twice. And so I think they really are trying to figure it out. Now, here's the other thing. At this point, I am willing to say that I'm going to have to eat a shoe. This is true. I don't know the ins and outs or the details, but it has been confirmed to me. It has been confirmed to me by somebody directly, but there has been so many indirect confirmations in this last 2 days. There's so many people that are like, yes. I mean, Sophie was sending me something tonight saying that people were at the soft bar run with Carl and KJ and that it was confirmed at the soft bar run. Now, these are just anybody can make up anything, but I do know this to be true. I don't know the ins and outs of it. And that's going to be an important thing, even though at this point they're real people. So that's that tricky, slippery slope. If you're them, they're probably of the mind of, we don't owe shit to anybody, man. We're real people. Right? But it's hard because when you make your money off of being those real people, your fan base is based on that reality. So you do have to take into account the fans. You're not Daniel Day-Lewis. You're not Meryl Streep. You know? So it's going to be very interesting. But yeah, this is something. The other thing I keep seeing is that Buffalo Wild Wings, which has a brand endorsement deal with Amanda Batula right now, I think she posted it on her Instagram on Friday. They've been commenting on a lot of Summer House posts, and there's a conspiracy theory going around that this is a big April Fool's Day prank with the cast, Amanda, and Buffalo Wild Wings. I get it, right? Oh, Buffalo Wild Wings is like commenting eye emojis on a post about all of this drama. Guys, they're a brand. Some person that is one of that works for the brand is trying to farm engagement. That's what they do for a living. It does not mean that they're part of a giant conspiracy. And if that is the case, I'll eat 2 shoes. But no, Buffalo Wild Wings, it's just they're trying to get their money's worth out of this endorsement. And it's probably going to go south pretty quickly. So they're going to get while the getting is good. But also, just think about this logically. Buffalo Wild Wings, they have convinced the entire cast of Summer House, not Bravo, mind you, the entire cast of Summer House to do a big prank involving 2 of their cast members hooking up with each other and hurting Ciara. First off, that's why the April Fool's Day joke doesn't really, because it's not funny in any sort of way for anybody involved. But I mean, if it is, I mean, that would just be just not reading the room at all. But the other thing is, Bravo would sue the pants off of Buffalo Wild Wings. You fucked with our show? Are you kidding me? They're not allowed just to like, I'm sorry. And anybody that works for brands that are listening to this right now, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You're not able to do this at this level where you're creating storyline. It's just not something that Bravo would ever even sign off on or approve of or anything. You would see brand endorsements with any Bravo celebrity be kiboshed after this. So no. Buffalo Wild Wings is not in on some vast conspiracy to fool the Bravo audience. We can think with our heads. We can walk and talk and chew gum at the same time. That is not what this is at all. Okay. Here are some odds and ends. Here's a Demois tip. Hey, I have a tip about Wes Wilson from Summer House. Overheard him at Automatic Slims during UConn Duke game. Was talking to someone about the Ciara, Amanda, and him scandal during a low point of the game. Said he was, quote, really in the shit and already getting isolated by the cast. Couldn't get a pic, but he smelled like hot dog. Well, I didn't know if this was real, and then the hot dog detail came out, and I was like, okay, it's very real. Also, if this is a game, you probably did have a hot dog, but also how close do you have to be to, like, go, this dude smells like hot dog. This, by the way, even if this is fake, the hot dog detail is what I'm like, oh, I just love reading this just for the hot dog. So that's a Demois tip. I told you about the soft bar run. Let's see here. This is from an account, Bravo Love Baby _. they're saying that Wes and Amanda were in Corona Del Mar and went for drinks at a Newport Beach at Malarkey's Irish Pub, where they were fully together like an actual couple kissing. This part I kind of doubt, because if they are in the shit, as Wes Wilson, that smells like a hot dog, says, I don't know if they would be all over each other in public, because this is where it would be really easy to get a pic. So this is where it gets kind of confusing. Now it's like there's all these sightings like a UFO, like I mentioned yesterday. So I don't know what the reality of this is, but people seem to be pushing that they actually are trying to make a go of it as a couple. And that's like what doesn't blow my mind is that these two people might have hooked up. That doesn't blow my mind. It's shocking, but it's not like, oh my God. What would be shocking is if they're trying to make a go of it as a relationship. Wes Wilson has one of his character traits on Summer House has been his inability to commit, not just with Ciara, but Dara, who's with KJ. She even said, like, man, you try to get into a relationship with him, and that's when he actually disappoints you, but he's a great friend. And so Amanda Batula is the one that has finally made Wes Wilson want to settle down. That's the part that would blow my mind. Now, Ciara is at the, tonight she was at the Friends and Neighbors season 2 premiere. She looked fantastic. And listen, Ciara has been on the rise. And regardless of this scenario, her star is ascending. So, it's like she's already doing amazing, but I think I hate to say like when shit like this takes you to another level, but you do have to look at Ariana Madix. Now, I always like Ariana Madix, it was the right time, right place, but she had the talent as well. Like that's the one component. You'll have the right opportunity and be at the right place, right time. But if you don't have the talent, you're not going very far. But Ariana did have the talent. Now with Ciara, I'll be very curious. But I mean, her star continues to ascend with or without this controversy. So the big thing we've got to really kick around is this. Because Bravo and Cocktail said that there would be an announcement forthcoming. When will this announcement? Are they going to save it for Easter this weekend? That would be great. He has risen. And also West has commented on him and Amanda. Now, tonight's episode of Summer House, there's a Kyle and Amanda conversation. There's a West and Kyle conversation. There's a couple different conversations. But nothing where I was like, holy shit, this breaks everything wide open. But it's, there's stuff to look at. But it did bum me out watching, right? So that's kind of where we are. I don't think I'm leaving out anything huge. Let's take our final commercial break right now, and we'll come right back. Okay, this is kind of Summer House news as we wind down here, but it's really positive. It's about 2 former cast members of Summer House, Hannah Berner and Paige DeSorbo. You're like, where have they been? Have they been doing anything since Summer House? Yes, I'm the first to announce they have been doing a podcast called Giggly Squad. As you know, it's an insanely huge and successful podcast. Well, guess what? You probably heard this already, but if you haven't, get ready to be knocked off your coal mining asses, because they are headlining a comedy series in the works at Netflix, and they're teaming up with Amy Poehler and Kay Cannon. Kay Cannon is an amazing writer-director. She used to write for 30 Rock. She also wrote Pitch Perfect and directed one of the Pitch Perfect movies. She's a genius. I know this because I used to go to the same acting school as Kay Cannon. She was already gone when the time I got there, but she would come back and visit. And she was so inspirational, so funny. She got me into a screening of the premiere of Pitch Perfect 2 when that came out. And by the way, she used to be married to Jason Sudeikis back in the day. And now, obviously, she's now with somebody else. She's amazing. She's so damn talented. And so I heard her name and I was like, oh my God, this is the real deal. But it's going to be produced by Amy Poehler with Kay Cannon also producing, but co-writing and serving as the showrunner. I mean, I'm telling you, this thing is going to be huge with the people involved. Now, they're going to be starring in it. That's the part that I'm like, do they have the acting chops? But think about it, like, is this going to be like a Broad City? I think it's probably going to be even more universal. And Netflix, my God, this is going to be huge. It's going to be set in New York City. It's called the Untitled Hannah and Paige Project. And they're going to star as fictionalized versions of themselves as they become the ultimate ride or dies, helping each other shed their baggage and emerge as the people people they've always wanted to be. And Berner and DeSorbo are executive producing as well. This project stems from an idea by Berner and DeSorbo, who first met while working briefly for the same company in New York. They bonded during their time together on Bravo's Summer House. This is from a Deadline.com article, you guys. Berner left after season 5 when she kicked off her stand-up career, and DeSorbo departed after last season's 9 and has focused on her career as a fashion influencer, including launching her Daphne sleepwear line. So this is through Universal TV, and it's going to be huge, you guys. This is the real deal. And this is what I always said. Remember, I was not a fan of Hannah Berner in that last season. Not at all. And that's what's kind of the great thing about reality television. Started off as a Hannah Berner fan. That last season, I got turned so far away from Hannah Berner. But what I've loved about Hannah Berner is that she didn't it's like you see a lot of housewives or reality stars and they're just constantly trying to get back on their show. She went and did her own thing, man. She doesn't need reality television. And in fact, it's like so exciting to see someone that doesn't need reality television. And you're like, they probably, if they're smart, will never do reality television again because they don't have to. They get to keep their personal life private, or they'll be able to use it for their own content. Hannah Berner has made a success of herself, whether you like it or not, by doing her own thing, by doing stand-up, by doing the podcast, and now by doing this sitcom. I mean, how amazing is this? I mean, listen, for both of them, that is huge. And I'm just like, they are on a different level at this point. And I think that is very exciting to watch. And I don't listen to Giggly Squad. I did read the Giggly Squad book, which I enjoyed. But I don't listen to the podcast. But I will watch this show. I think with all the people involved, they have the right people behind this, where if this doesn't work, it's not going to be because they didn't have the right people. So that is so exciting. So it's a little positive note to end on today. And now we get to our amazing guest, Myka Meier, Ladies of London. This is a quick 30-minute interview. I could have talked to her all day, but we got to do this in person. This was the first time out of my house after the baby had been born last week, and she was so delightful. So delightful. I'm such a fan of hers. I really like her on the show, and I like her more and more as each episode, the first 2 episodes, she has a hard, tough go of it. But I've really, really grown to really, really like her. And also just her history, of how she started. We barely get to scratch the surface, but she's so fascinating. I was just doing some light digging on her in preparation for this, and we didn't even get to touch so many things about how she came up and what she, I don't know, very inspirational. Myka Meier, go follow her on Instagram. I'm going to take one of her courses. I shit you not. I really am going to do that, which, by the way, we have somebody that teaches about manners, and I just said, shit you not. Anyways, thank you to Bravo for letting me speak with Myka Meier. I really appreciate that. And without further ado, here she is from Ladies of London, which airs Thursday nights. Make sure you catch up on Peacock. Truly, do it for me, you guys. You don't have to get us any baby gifts or anything like that. Watch Ladies of London, okay? So Myka Meier will come back. And we had Mark Francis on Friday, so make sure you go and listen to that as well. I want to talk to this entire cast. I mean, my goal is at the next BravoCon that this show is still going and I get to host the Ladies of London panel. Somebody said that the other day and I was like, yeah, why? I should be hosting the Ladies of London panel. Let's put it out. Let's manifest it like Amanda Francis, okay? Anyways, here she is, Myka Meier. Have a great Tuesday, folks. Thanks for being here with us today.